Hey Sam,
Yes.
can we turn the sound up a little bit?
I turned the sound up on here.
Yeah, we're gonna try to turn the volume up a little bit, Steve.
Say again.
We're gonna try to turn the volume up a little bit.
Did everyone turn their mics on?
Yeah. Come on.
I can hear some, I can hear the same.
Okay. Larry, say hi to Steve.
Sammy voice carries.
Did you hear Larry?
Look, it's that mom voice.
Yeah, there you go.
I can hear my own thing.
Hello, Steve.
He's doing it on purpose, he's laughing.
Hey Steve, you can't listen to us on Facebook too. I can hear Facebook.
Okay.
You can't do two things at once.
Listen one place or the other, but you can't listen both.
Call this meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Larry Fiddler,
Here.
Greg J,
Here.
Rick Deerwester,
Here.
Cindy Holland,
Here.
Gary Bennington.
Here.
Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I'd like to make a slight change.
Okay.
I'd like to move number 12 up between 5 and 6.
I think you'll want to refer to the back page. Mr. Bennington's referring to the back page.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got is 12.
Yeah.
Will be under communications.
I believe he's referring to number 8.
Okay, 8 or 12, either one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe he wants to move that after the approval of the minutes.
Between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would also like to ask a couple of questions in regards to the utility portion of, just for some procedure questions.
That is one thing. We have received some comments from the public. Obviously, this is kind of not normal that we're all having to mask up and maintain 6 feet between us, but we do what we can. As I'm sure the public has realized, it is a public meeting. It's being live streamed on Facebook. We're basically trying our best to make sure that the public is still engaged through this process. So prior to tonight's hearing, we made some efforts to request folks either call in, write in, send some kind of communication. If they had questions, we wanted to give the folks in our community the opportunity to ask us questions. I'm sure because of the recent changes, there probably are some questions. If there are any litigation-related questions, I'll probably kind of intervene in those. But so this is actually probably a good thing that folks are participating. It shows that what we've done has worked and that we are still able to impact the community even during these very odd times that we're living in. So, and just so you all know too, tonight we did post notice on the door that the meeting would be live streamed and that it's a closed meeting. But we also did post the agenda on the door, so if we had any passerbys want to see what we're handling this evening, they would be able to see the agenda. We've also posted it online so that people wanting to participate and engage in this process will know exactly the topics that we're covering this evening. So I'll turn that back over to Larry.
Okay. Do I have approval for the changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as changed.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of the March 24th special meeting.
So we'll be requesting, we had a special meeting on March 24th. We had a special meeting on March 17th, or I'm sorry, an executive session on March 17th. and we had another executive session on March 24th following the special meeting. The minutes have been submitted. Those are available to the public to review, and we can post those on our Facebook page if folks would like to review those. Of course, all that information is made known to the public. So we would just be going through our normal procedures at this point, approving those minutes.
All motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 8 on your second page, termination of Wayne Galloway.
Okay, I'll briefly just speak on this. As you all know, there's been an article in the newspaper concerning Mr. Galloway, the claims that he's made against the town. So there's a lot of questions about the executive session and the litigation that's stemmed from what Mr. Galloway believes occurred. So just to clarify, just for the public's knowledge, when we had our executive session on March 24th, there was a discussion with Mr. Galloway, and he was specifically asked at that time to refrain from destroying any town property. Basically, he was also asked to return all town property, which this is commonplace. This is what's outlined in the town of Cloverdale's employee handbook. It was reported to me that he was in the process of destroying, or had been already destroying documents and taking documents with him from the office when he was specifically asked not to. Now that alone is not that telling, but at the same time it's important to note that the reason that I contacted Mr. Galloway and asked Mr. Galloway to suspend his duties and to vacate his office was because the town had been in contact with an outside law enforcement agency, and there is a pending investigation into the actions of Mr. and Mrs. Galloway. So the reason that Mr. Galloway was asked to vacate his office and suspend his duties was due to the fact that we were trying to preserve the integrity of that investigation. So if there are any questions as to that, moving forward, I guess we're probably not going to delve too much farther into that. This evening, I would request a vote if the council does decide to move forward with the termination, as Mr. Galloway was informed in the executive session would be occurring, if he chose not to resign.
Do I have a motion?
All motion, we move forward.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, claims and transfers. General, $68,099.14. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Water, $39,761.11. Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Who made that motion?
Aye.
Thank you.
Wastewater, $66,025.70. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Payroll number 6, $22,774.01. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Payroll number 7, $23,075.92. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Town Marshal. Is he able to give a report?
Steve, can you give your report?
I can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
We can now.
Okay, the monthly report, this is our 90-day report, January through March. You should see on there, we're about 674 calls for service and 87 agency assist. Obviously with COVID-19, most of our priorities have shifted to a lot of security checks on businesses, especially the high value businesses. We have had some incidents where we've had some fighting over some grocery items, that type of thing. We are staying pretty active in the community, putting some miles on, hitting all the courts, the roads, and inlets in town. Have gone to 24-hour coverage. With James, school closed, James is covered for the other night shift for the interim. He leaves the academy next month, but in the interim, he's been able to cover that opposite midnight shift. And that with the help of the reserves, we've got pretty bolstered through. I will tell you, I'm not there tonight because I'm in quarantine right now. I came in contact with somebody who did test positive, and I myself was tested earlier today. So I'll have my results here in a couple days. Other than that, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. You should also have the arrests for the month. We had even with COVID, we had a very busy month. I think we had 14 arrests for the month of March. And that's my report until we get into the new business portion.
Thank you.
Larry, do you want questions as they come up, or would you like to wait till the end?
I'd like to wait till the end.
Perfect.
Normally, this is the point when the clerk treasurer would address the council. Ms. Galloway I'm not certain as to why she, I believe she is, she's at home watching the live stream. She did not attend the hearing here, so I guess she didn't contact me with any real information about potentially what she would be normally talking about. There has been, I will say, a little bit of information that has been relayed to me from a couple of the individuals that the town works for in regards to the IDEM situation. That is ongoing, and that, I will say, is not my area of expertise by any means. So I will probably be talking to you, one of you guys here over the next week about maybe working in tandem with me. The town has a guy by the name of William White, who's been extremely helpful throughout all of this. He realizes the town is kind of in a situation where we don't have someone to handle some of those responsibilities right now, and he stepped up. He's been extremely helpful in making contact with IDEM for us. He's been just, I can't say enough good things about him. He did make some recommendations. One thing that he did indicate was that there was a company called BL Anderson. They had a spot on a time where he could schedule a time for them to come to the town on April 23rd to start up new diffusers. Says here if the town can potentially complete some work and have the water 6" above the diffusers, then they can, I guess, do some kind of investigation into those. So that's something that's on the radar. Normally, previously Wayne had handled some of this, but I guess right now we'll probably be sharing some of that responsibility, and that kind of is leading into another part of the agenda item, which is a little bit farther on down in 9D, so I guess we'll just wait until that point to kind of talk about some of these things further.
Okay, you want to go ahead and talk, or you want us to talk about building inspector options?
Yes, if you'd like, I can kind of fill in the community on what's been going on. I know Larry, Greg, I have been in contact with you guys asking for some assistance. We have a lot of folks who are in need of demolition permits, re-roofing permits, building inspections. The good thing is that you know, we haven't been on our heels. We've been extremely proactive in trying to resolve this situation as timely as possible. And I think that's one thing that the council probably wants to ensure that the community knows, is that we are actively working towards that. You know, previously there was some conversation. If you'd like, Larry, I can turn this over to you if you want me to.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Well, previously there had been contact with a third party who I believe is affiliated with 3 Fat Labs there in Greencastle about maybe taking on some building inspection responsibilities. After speaking with him, he had recommended that we talk to the county about potentially handling some of the building responsibilities here in town, the inspection responsibilities. I know that some other municipalities in the county are doing the same exact thing. So we kind of have opened that door to begin investigating it. I spoke with the state fire marshal, and he informed me that it was his belief that the town of Cloverdale really doesn't need a building inspecting department. Because of the size of this town, the demand is not really there to warrant having a full-time building inspector. So his recommendation was to work with another municipality or the county, if at all possible. And then even, he said, potentially we could turn over the commercial inspections to the state. That is the only area that the state will actually handle. I've been in contact with Jim Inslee. He's the attorney for the Putnam County Commissioners. The commissioners, I believe, do potentially want to further speak to the town about the possibility of taking on the inspections for the town. The commissioners have a meeting on April 20th. And I believe this is gonna be on their agenda. So once we have the approval from the commissioners that they're potentially gonna be taking this on, then we can kind of begin going down that road a little bit further. But we wanna make sure that the commissioners are okay to do this, and assuming that the council wants to proceed in that direction. But from all the sources that I've spoken to about this, it seems like it would definitely be more beneficial for the town to delegate some of these responsibilities to the county, if at all possible. One, paperwork, maintaining it, the procedures that kind of go on behind the scenes, that will no longer be the town's responsibility. Additionally, we won't have to hire someone to do that, do continuing education. That's something that they will cover. So, you know, it seems like there are a lot of pros to doing that. So I just wanted to fill you in on, you know, we haven't been on our heels in this instance. We've been trying to be as proactive as possible, trying to get as much information as possible from different sources. And it seems like there is a general consensus amongst the people that I've spoken with that the county is the best option for this community.
Well, it also relieves us of liabilities.
Right. Yes, it does. So,
And the cost, I think, would be affected too, because they spread it throughout all these municipalities too, right? Instead of,
Right.
that's my understanding.
Right.
And, you know, you're not paying for an employee, you're not paying for health insurance, you're not paying for all those other kind of behind the scene things that most people don't think about. You know, when you see just a salary, you gotta think there's a lot more that goes into that employee. Plus, you additionally have to consider that things change. So continuing education, that's an ongoing thing that the town would be responsible for. So if we can delegate that potentially to someone else to take on that responsibility, it seems like a very good option, should the council approve that and want to move that direction. So, in speaking with the attorney for the county, he did indicate that after the 20th, assuming they approve working with the town, then we would begin some kind of potentially memorandum of understanding between our communities, where we can kind of get something a little more solid in paper, and then ideally we can get the county involved in handling some of the inspections, the permitting, those kinds of things. So
Until that decision is made, if someone needs a building inspector, like or a re-roof permit or something to that effect, what should they do?
The permit will come from here, from the town hall. The inspection will come from the county as a final only. They will do a final inspection only. And you can call us for a phone number, and we'll get you a phone number to contact the county and get the appropriate person and inspection slated to your and his convenience.
Can we make that motion now, or?
If you guys wanna have some discussion on that, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background as to what's been going on behind the scenes. If you want to have some discussion on that, that's definitely encouraged. I mean, you guys have been talking throughout but feel free to make any kind of comments that you'd like, and if that's the direction the council would like to proceed, then I would welcome a motion. And that would be just a motion to approve
Seeking out the county.
seeking out the county.
Right.
I think we spent quite a bit of time discussing building inspector and duties and not justifying it as a position within the town of Cloverdale for budgetary reasons and everything else. And we've been talking about going to an outside source. So I would motion that we do go ahead and continue discussion with the county to take that over for, or at least work with us on that.
I will tell you that, assuming the commissioners approve that, then, I will, be in contact. I'll probably request a special meeting be held so we can get that, whatever memorandum. I'll work with Jim Inslee and see what we can get worked out, and then we can get that approved and then get this thing going.
Because we need to try to move this as quick as we can, because we've got a lot of people that are contacting us with inquiries of what they're going to do or what we're going to do, so we don't want to delay it. So I would say let's go ahead and move forward with it ASAP.
I will say one other thing that's a positive out of this. There will be a unified system there. You won't have an inspector here potentially giving different recommendations than what the state requires.
Right.
So ultimately, they're gonna be enforcing the state standards, which is what they've assured me of when speaking with them. So that will be another positive that will come from this.
Well, I make a motion that we go forward. Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Police Department, Levi App, retroactive pay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've got 3 items. I've got one alibi. I'm watching online here. James and Alyssa McKee were asking about, I know at one point we had talked about closing the park down, and a lot of people are using the walking trail over there. They want to make sure that it's okay to use the walking trail. Apparently one of the park board members was asked to leave, who was out on the walking trail. And they've also brought up the fact that some of the kids for their school assignments are going over there to use the Wi-Fi. My recommendation from what I've seen out patrolling around would be to go ahead and allow them to use the walking trail to, as long as they maintain some social distance. If they have to go over there to use the Wi-Fi, same thing. We do want them to stay off the playground equipment because that stuff hasn't been wiped down and such. Thoughts?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Do we want to go ahead and mark off the playground, Steve? With some caution tape or?
If we can, yeah, we get the road guy, the street guys to go over there and do that. That would be a good way of doing that. I know that, yeah, people have been using the trails quite a bit, or the walking trail. And I think that would be, people want to get out in this good weather and try to get, that's good and healthy for them to get out there as long as they just don't congregate.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Is that, Daniel, is that anything you take a vote on to?
So
Mark?
we had previously indicated in our ordinances in the March 24th special meeting that the town park would be closed. If we were going to amend that, we would need to amend that ordinance, basically to strike that language out of it. If that's the council's desire, we can do that. I would just ask that, because this was not on the agenda, that we go through the proper
What
procedures.
is the current state guideline for the state parks?
Well, I'm not certain. I want to say that the state parks might still be open.
They are.
Are they?
I was there Raccoon Lake Sunday, and they just have the playground, they have caution tape on it, but people are walking the trails.
So I think we follow
Yeah.
state guidelines
Yeah.
on that.
They're doing
Right.
that, I seen them there walking on the trails.
Especially,
But the
yeah,
park has caution tape on it where the kids can't get on it, the swings.
I
and
see.
stuff.
especially if the kids are doing school assignments to get on Wi-Fi there.
Right,
Yeah, they're using that Wi-Fi.
okay. So yeah,
Kids don't
then
have
we
it,
can
right.
get that amended, if you guys want to, give me a motion and.
I would motion that we follow state guidelines and
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, I just wanted to be attentive, I saw those comments online, thought we talked about that. The first thing I wanna ask, I know the 24th, you guys graciously approved Levi's pay raise, and he still hadn't received it yet, the way it was set up, and we need to ask and see if we could, make it retroactive pay. Would you be willing to do that?
I'm gonna motion that we go ahead and retro pay Levi back to the agreed date of the 24th of last month, I believe it was.
That's correct.
Yes.
So I will motion for that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay, thank you for that. The next thing, I know most of you saw Ken Goldman brought the new patrol car by. You can see it before the meeting tonight. I'd like to get approval to start working on a deal to get that car into the fleet and move Adam's. That'd be a car for Adam. His car would move in to be another pool car. We've got our reserves double, triple teamed up out there right now. And I know we had some discussion with that perhaps we might have an extra vehicle in the town fleet somewhere that we could use as a trade-in on this particular one.
I don't think we've done anything to see about a trade-in. It would probably be an older vehicle that we do have. And, I don't know that it would be much value to Kent as far as a trade-in is concerned. I think we'd be better off just putting it up for sealed bids and buy this one straight out if that's the case.
I think what I would recommend is we figure out which vehicle that's going to be, and then have Kent give us a
Okay.
trade-in value, and see if it's worth
Okay.
the closed bid, because we know how closed bids go. Sometimes they're not real
Mhm.
lucrative, and maybe we can get more money going through Kent as a trade-in.
Okay. That's a motion.
I would motion that we do that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And then the third thing, would be last year when Billy Wallace left, we never did fill his position, and I would like to try to get approval, to start working on hiring a full-time officer to backfill that vacancy that we had. As we've gone over the salary budget this year, where we were at, we've got $236,745 in the salary budget, so we've got cap there to be able to bring on a new hire, and I'd like to start working on that, if I can get that approved.
Any discussion?
Are we,
We'll say next month, James leaves for the academy, so we will be down an officer next month. He'll be at the academy all summer long. And then when he comes back, he'll be back at the school, so another officer would give us the ability to get back to 24, maintain the 24, or nearly 24 hour coverage that we've got currently.
and we lost an officer last year.
I believe we were in the process.
We're down one officer right now, Steve.
And that's correct. We basically started out, Logan's position is the one that we've kind of worked our way into filling, where we're sitting right now with Adam. Of course, we have Levi. James is over to school, which that leaves where we had Billy Wallace hired, and then Billy left, and that vacancy never got refilled.
But to maintain 24/7, we need to go ahead and get a full-time,
We'll
Steve.
be close to 24/7.
Close.
It'll be, it'll be close. We've got, yeah, when they work the hours in there, then we add the reserves into it. We've been able, over the last month, we have pretty much been on a 24/7 coverage. We have about an hour overlap or knocked up in the morning, and that's from 6 to 7, and that's about it.
Well, I think if we want 24/7, which I think,
Well, we're currently down one officer, so
Yeah.
we're really not adding into the budget,
Right.
replacing for her.
Do I have a motion?
So I'll motion that we start researching hiring another full-time officer.
Do I have a second?
second,
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
There was a comment from Cheryl Galloway. It said you need to verify where you are in the 2020 budget. When are you getting information, or when you are getting information from the independent auditors?
Okay. But can you read it one more time? I'm sorry.
You need to verify where you are in the 2020 budget when you are getting information from the independent auditors.
Steve, the budget that you were given,
I couldn't understand.
the budget that he was given, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
The budget that you were given, have you used all of that budget?
I have not, no.
Okay, so, what we'll probably do then, I guess, is, we'll have to consult with Ms. Galloway and, I'm not sure who she's referring to, this, the independent auditor, and see potentially what information we can get. I'm guessing that may have something to do with this pandemic. There are some, situations that, with financing, but, if you haven't used your budget, I can't speak as to that, but I'm sure that money should still be available if you haven't used it, so. But maybe that's something that we can investigate further with Ms. Galloway, and who, the name of this auditor, I don't know, but, we'll consult with her or him, as soon as we, have an opportunity.
Sure, I mean, this is the start, all this is the starting process, we won't make any offers. I mean, if we find somebody, if we locate somebody, then I'll come back to council and say that I've located somebody, and we'll validate the numbers, make sure the budget is there, and wants to do that. While I'm off this week, I'm starting to work on the strategic plan, which is going to incorporate, I talked about a pay matrix or a pay scheme, so we can start better planning, the budget going into the future, and that'll be part of this as well.
Okay.
Thank you. And, well, I'll speak with Ms. Galloway and see if maybe we can figure out a time to speak to this auditor, and then we can, hopefully get you all some information so that we know a little bit in terms of the financial situation, what we're working with, and, so I'll get on that, first thing this week, so. Okay?
Is that all, Steve?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Redevelopment. Says we have a report from April 15th.
Yes, I sent out that, report, for you all. Ms. Galloway also sent it out, I believe, back at the end of March. That redevelopment report is required annually. It's, required to be submitted, I believe, on the 15th of April. So that was I just wanted to note that you all had received that the individuals, part of the redevelopment committee have received it as well. So, Ms. Galloway had sent an email saying that she was, needing some assistance with getting that report uploaded. I'm not sure exactly what she means, but, I know she's probably going to be speaking with, there's a gentleman by the name of Jim Higgins. I know I've been on a telephone call with him in the past. I know he does a lot of, good work, and I know that he has helped the town in the past. So she may be working with him, to get that report uploaded. So, that was what I kind of gathered from that email communication.
or that gateway,
Yes, I believe it's, has something to do with being uploaded to Gateway, so. But I did wanna address that too, because that email did come into my inbox.
Okay, department heads taking additional responsibilities.
Okay, yes, so now that Mr. Galloway has been terminated, I think the town needs to probably begin considering, there will be, some duties that need to be discussed about maybe how we can, potentially delegate some of those responsibilities to town employees that we currently have. It's probably gonna be beneficial now that we have, more money to work with, that we could potentially sweeten the deal, now that they're gonna be doing potentially some more work. So the reason I'm saying that is because, like some of these responsibilities with the sewer plant and the water treatment facilities and all of those various things that are gonna be necessary for the people in this community. We have, I believe, people already on the team who are able to potentially step up and take on those additional responsibilities. So I would ask that the council go ahead and give approval for me to start moving that direction and maybe trying to seek out conversations with these employees and see if they would even be interested in doing that. If not, it'll probably, we'll have to figure out another plan. At least that would give me the green light to go ahead and begin those conversations.
I'll make a motion to move forward on
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
that. Aye.
Okay, so I'll begin that conversation, and, we've got some real great employees here for the town that, I think we can utilize to take on some of those responsibilities, that, Mr. Galloway used to, handle, so.
Okay. Scott Mayhew payment.
I'd like a question on this.
Mhm.
There's no description where has this work been done?
Yes, this work has been done. It's
There's
in,
no place on here where it says what was done or where it was done.
okay. It's up by Whitaker Funeral Home on Lafayette Street.
Uh-huh.
And we had actually approved this work a month ago or 2 months ago.
Okay.
Didn't they have to redo the sidewalk?
Scott dropped off, a picture of the work that's
Yeah.
completed over there. It's over by Whitaker Funeral Home.
Right across the street.
No, actually, it's on the same side as the
Oh,
street.
same side.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking something else that was done on the other
Same
side.
side as funeral home.
Same side as the funeral home, north of the funeral home.
Okay.
North of Cemetery Road is
No, it parallels Lafayette Street.
Yeah.
His bid was originally 6,500, and mine.
Gonna do.
Yeah, I would take a permanent stop sign rather than temporary.
And people, for the beginning, they're probably not gonna be used to it.
Right,
But, C-Bar-C aren't gonna be used to it anyway, cause most of them aren't from here.
right.
I think if you guys, the big issue, Mr. Bennington was saying, was the eastbound traffic coming there, that's where that blind spot is
Mhm.
there. So maybe if you put up, two different signs up, you got a stop sign right there at the wall, and then maybe, a stop ahead.
Stop
Give
ahead
them-
sign to pre-warn
Give
them.
them a warning prior to them approaching that wall.
Mhm.
Cause you're gonna have that line of traffic out of C-Bar-C anyway from
Yeah,
there all the way to 231.
I don't see the westbound traffic.
that's usually scattered though, except for that one
Might as
weekend
well be
per year.
Yeah,
The biggest thing is to get them to slow down at the
Yeah.
intersection.
yeah.
Best way to slow them down is stop them.
And for right now, that'd be, I would think, cost effective rather than going to court and doing all, and let's just see what happens with the stop signs. Put them up there.
We don't,
Freeway
if
stop.
it don't work out there, I'm sure we can find someplace else in town to use them.
Yeah.
Okay, so, would you like to go ahead and give me a motion to, work with the street department and get get signs up.
I would
Purchase those
motion that we
signs.
put a stop sign and a stop ahead sign, as Levi's talking about, and then a stop sign on the other, so we had
So,
two
yeah,
stop signs and a
three-way
stop ahead
stop,
sign.
yeah. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Folks, can I address one more thing that I forgot to on our previous page? Won't take just a moment, I'm so sorry. Just a lot on the agenda tonight, and really, it has to do with, Mr. Galloway's termination. As you guys know, Mr. Galloway has filed a suit against the town. I would make a recommendation that we utilize our insurance provider. That's why we have our insurance. I believe the deductible in the past has been $2,500. And once that insurance company steps in, they take it over and basically handle it. The other good thing is that they're gonna be able to delegate that to employment law attorneys who are gonna be able to advocate for the town's interests. So I would ask for a motion to begin that and to speak with the insurance company and to pay the deductible of $2,500 for insurance to begin taking on that work for Mr. Galloway, his lawsuit.
I'll make a motion, we turn it over to the insurance company.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Does I need to go to second vote?
No, it does not.
Anything else?
I don't have anything further, no.
Questions?
So some of the questions that have been coming into the town, one of which popped up on the thing, I think is just for clarification, was what about the wall? The wall will stay up and we're putting up stop signs, correct?
Correct.
Okay. 2, it's been requested from Susie, she is the clerk that does for the water. She has requested that we reopen the lobby because to do new customers, switching, like people that move from one place to another, gun permits, it's very, very difficult to not like, and then the phone is ringing off the hook. It's not that she's not answering, it's that, so her request is because there is the protective glass
That's what I was
barrier,
just gonna say, there is a protective glass there,
she's
so.
requesting that it be reopened.
Is that outside, that drop box inside still there?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So, is it possible to reopen the lobby?
That's just for her?
Yeah, she's the only one in there
Okay.
that deals with it, and her response is, I work at Kroger. Like, if I'm gonna catch it, it'll be Tanner.
And we do have the separation windows, so
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
Plus, we have,
technically separate rooms.
and we
that-
have
yeah.
sanitizer and the ability to wash hands.
Well, I'd make a motion to allow her to come back in and just keep social distancing
Yeah.
if there's multiple people in there, but if she's the only one.
And I'm sure she'll happily put a sign on the door that
Sure.
says one person in
Yeah,
at a
in
time.
that area at a time,
So
yeah.
just limited to one
Right.
person.
Okay.
Right.
And then as Gary Bennington brought up a good point, the drop box for payments is outside in the parking lot. The one that's in the foyer is for the trustee's office. We do not have a key to that.
Oh, no.
We have to get a hold of the trustee and have him come and unlock it. So if you are dropping off a payment, please do so in the drop box
Yeah.
outside in the parking lot.
Is there a way we cover that?
It
Take
says,
it down?
it
What-
says trustee
What are
on
we
it.
putting in the trustee box?
It's
What's going on?
paperwork, like if you were to need some sort of assistance from the trustee, and he'll pick up the paperwork, basically, that way people in Cloverdale don't have to drive all the way to Putnam County Courthouse.
And things are ending up in that box.
It's happened occasionally, it's happening a lot more now, but hopefully with the window being back open, it'll cut down on that. But, I mean, we can maybe put a piece of paper over it that says trustee
Post it.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just trying not to super clutter.
Just post it with a
Okay.
note.
Okay.
Who has the keys?
The
Trustee
trustee.
only.
Who's the trustee?
Pat Manning, Pat
McFadden.
McFadden. And then also, we do not have an online, like a payment arrangement online. If you happen to go and look up Cloverdale Water, it's gonna send you to California. Please do not pay them. We do not get it. We are working toward, the ladies in the water are working towards a couple options to present to the board to do the automated payments, which it's gonna be a minute, but it is something that we are working
Along
towards.
with, someone working on the website.
Yeah.
That might be
The rest
another
of
avenue.
the rest of the world has gone digital.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Right.
And then just for clarification, for building permits, you can pick up the blanks here to fill out. Okay, currently we have a few, but most of them are locked in the building inspector's office.
You have a few blank ones, is that correct?
For some,
Yeah.
I think we used our last roofing one today.
Yeah, Susie told me that she was out of the roofing and maybe demolition.
Maybe, but like I said, the blanks are,
Mhm.
so,
Can we give those to you
yes,
tonight,
yes,
if we can find them?
yes.
Okay,
I think I know where they are.
okay.
But moving forward, could we keep those in like the
Sure.
part that's open all the time? That way people, we'll put them in the boxes with the flyers and that's where people can find them moving forward?
Sure,
Perfect. I think
as long as
that's,
you don't put them all in there.
well darn.
Are they multi-page applications or just single page?
They're like the different colors where the building inspector gets one, the customer gets one. So, and a lot of people are very happy with the feedback that that they're able to watch via
Oh,
Facebook.
cool.
And
Very good.
this will just be temporary because if we get the deal set with the county, everyone will be going to the county courthouse to pick up their building permits.
Okay.
Or
So,
at least I think so.
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, I would say they could probably pick them up here, but it's a minimum.
Minimum, yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
I think that's all we have.
Okay,
Glad we got some good feedback that, Facebook worked, that's cool.
anything else from the council?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing here, Larry.
No, Your Honor.
Okay,
I'm used to being in court, guys.
What'd he say? No, Your Honor?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Checking out.
okay, call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Oh, I was gonna ask Kent, what were these for? Or did you?
Yes, these were just,
The concrete was 1712.90, so his grand total is 4787 and 10 cents.
So we're gonna be receiving a bill at the town for the concrete. So it's gonna be two separate invoices.
Do I have a motion to pay Scott Mayhew?
All motion we pay Mayhew Construction.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Folks, I did want to let you know too, I was just looking at my email.
Hey, Steve.
I spoke with, I just wanted you.
Steve trying to call back in.
Oh, my apologies. I just spoke, I was looking at my email. I think Miss Galloway was concerned about potentially being exposed, with the coronavirus and getting out. So I think that's probably why she's not here in attendance, so, that's why I just wanted to clarify that. I believe she's just concerned about that.
Steve just sent in a text, he wanted to know that Ms. Galloway has retained an attorney.
Yes, so last week, I received a telephone call. Ms. Galloway has hired an attorney for herself, which she is statutorily allowed to do. The law allows her to do that. So she has done that. It's a gentleman out of Danville. Times that I've spoken to him, he seems like a very nice person. He's easy to work with, considering the situation that we're kind of all involved in right now. But yes, she has hired an attorney, and that person is going to be advising her from now moving on. So potentially at future meetings, what we'll have is Miss Galloway, once we return to a normal, where we're not having to worry about a global pandemic, Miss Galloway will be in attendance, I assume, with her attorney.
So we're paying for an attorney to represent Ms. Galloway out of the same budget basically that we're paying for an officer.
I don't know where the funds come from. I would assume that how it has worked in the past is that, I think, the general fund, basically there is a budgeted amount of money that's set aside for professional services. That's what I would be paid out of. If there was any accounting work that would be done, that would be paid out of that professional services. So I would assume at this point that those funds are coming from that.
But it's generally out of the town's budget, so we are paying for a representative to represent Ms. Galloway out of the town taxpayer's budget. And we're trying to come up with taxpayer money to pay for an officer, so it's just something that Steve wanted to be noted.
Okay.
This has happened before, with clerk treasurer before I came into office. And it did happen before.
So yes, that's the situation we're working with right now. And I think it may be a good thing in some respects because communication has been extremely difficult right now. So having someone who can mediate that between Cheryl and I and Cheryl and the council is probably a good thing. The downside is, yes, those funds are going to be used to...
Facebook is froze up right now.
It says low connection, it ended it itself. So I can go ahead and hit share and try to re-go into it again.
Okay, it's back on.
Is it?
You want back on speaker, or you want to watch it on Facebook?
Are you sure it's not the replay?
Okay, let me turn you back on speaker.
I don't think it's on.
Me to check.
Yes, please. It went back to,
Is it low connections, Sam?
it said low connection. There's Wi-Fi here if,
Are you on the Wi-Fi, Dan, or are you going through?
No, I was going through my
Cell?
cell phone.
Outside or something.
I'm trying to see.
Greg,
sorry.
it happened
You're
with the
okay.
clerk treasurer just before Cheryl came on.
Well, I understand,
Yeah.
it's still tax dollars
Yeah.
that we're spending
Because we can't communicate.
on a
Yeah.
representative for our clerk treasurer, and we're trying to hire an officer and pay for an officer, and there's no money for that.
So can we do like a 20-second recap of what was the
Yeah, I mean, we were just continuing to talk about, I just wanted to make it known that Ms. Galloway chose not to be here due to the coronavirus. I had been in communication with her attorney about that prior to the meeting, through trying to get all the Facebook and the technology figured out so that we could live stream. But as I was sitting here, I was looking through my most recent emails, and I did see that there was another communication from her attorney. So in regards to all that, I don't know, I've been told that I think she's gonna be handling the meetings for tonight. I will probably also do them, and then if she chooses not to, then, but I would think that we could probably work together in that respect. So I just wanted to make it known so that there weren't any questions as to why she wasn't here. That was why. I did inform her counselor that we did want her here to participate in this process. But that was her decision to not be here tonight. So anyways, I just want to make that known for you all. it always is coming in, I'm getting lots of emails and communication, so I just wanna make sure you know that, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
town website?
So for the town website, well, let me back up, Scott Mayhew, did we get approval to
Yes.
release that
Yes,
payment?
we did.
Okay, I don't know why that payment was released, because I believe the council already approved that at a previous meeting, so the town website, there have been some questions about,
Do I keep dropping it?
with the town's website, previously the council approved, I believe it was about $200 to potentially work on the website, getting it revamped. That's not been used yet. I offered my services to try to update our website and make it a little more attractive to the eye. The website that was in operation looked like it was from 1997. It was not very user-friendly, and it just, I didn't think communicate a very modern and positive picture of the town. So I begun conversations with Ms. Galloway and with the council a while back about handling some of that. But because of all the recent issues with Mr. Galloway and with Mrs. Galloway, I frankly don't have time to work on the website. I don't have a lot of time to do
I would
anything.
motion that we
So-
seek a professional web design company or individual to help us update our website so that you can dedicate your time and efforts to what we need help with.
I did want you to know as well, we have a great guy here in town, his name's Dave Mitchell. He owns Oddfellows Printing here downtown. This is what he used to do for a living. I've spoken with him, he is definitely interested in potentially working with the town. Had some great ideas to make sure that the town's website, in terms of when people are searching for Cloverdale on Google, you want your website to be the first one. You don't want it to be the news story about, something, or, we want to attract as many people here as possible, and he is very good at potentially structuring that so that it would potentially attract more people, ideally bring in more investment, residents, and business. So, he is someone that might be a good resource. But if that sounds like something that the council would like to do, I'll begin that process of trying to make some make some contact for the council and get some more information for you.
I know Mr. Mitchell, he does good work. You should see his website. He's the one that has a t-shirt shop, and he is good at that.
The other positive is he's born and raised here. He, he's still here. He's a small business owner in our community. So, one of those times when potentially if we can work out something with him, it might be a benefit, because we can, keep some of that local, some of that investment local. So
I think he might be also president of Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, he was a year ago, but he may be back in again. I
Okay.
don't know. Well, I make a motion if, we would like to start a conversation with him, to have him do the website design.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
So I'll get that information and bring that to your attention. Hopefully maybe in May we'll be back to normal.
Okay, building security and IT security?
So those are some areas that the council needs to start considering. Those were roles that would have been handled by the town manager. But since tonight we've terminated that individual, we'll need to be thinking about potentially building security. It may be the most beneficial thing to allow the police department to handle the building security. They're already in the business of keeping people safe, and I think it wouldn't be that difficult to ensure that they're protecting the building, of course. So that might be something that we need to think about in terms of locks and all that situation. Now, I'm sure with Cheryl, we'll wanna keep that situation separate, and she will wanna probably handle her own security, or figure out how she wants to handle that, her end of the office. And that would probably be the best thing, is to, frankly, kind of keep her office separate and allow her to manage that. That is definitely what we need to do. But at least for the building, the doors, it might be beneficial to use the police department for that. In addition, IT, that was something else that the town manager was handling. I've spoken with the town's IT professionals. They've given me a little bit of information, but they're kind of like in a position right now where they don't know who to speak with. They need the council to delegate someone to take that authority. I know our evidence technician, Rick, has expressed that he would be willing to do those things. But those are just some things to consider. I just wanted to bring that to the council's attention.
Well, I think we've talked about this a little bit, and sending it over to the police department, but we wanna have a plan B in case something would happen there, that we have an alternative backup administrator, if you will, that has access and is privy to those codes and passcodes and whatnot that are needed. And I know you and I've talked about it, and I suggested that you take that on as a backup role, just so we have a backup into the system if we lose Rick for some
Right.
reason.
And something I will say, because there is this outside involvement with an outside law enforcement agency, concerning Wayne and Cheryl, it's probably best at this time to not entangle Rick or myself in that just yet, but we need to come up with a plan for the short term, because I'm sure that
Who's doing it now?
no one,
No one.
it would have been Wayne and previously.
So do
There's
we
no one
have,
at this
do we have all of our IT credentials that we need to administer the system?
No.
No, we don't.
And who has that?
Our IT company has that.
And do we need to draft a legal letter to them indicating that we need that information?
Potentially.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Correct,
that,
that would be a yes, because the police department, they will not reset our passwords and allow us access to our computers.
So even our police department is locked out of their computer over this.
so yes, we're definitely gonna need to do that. If the police can't get in their computers, that's a problem. So I can reach out to them and let them know that we need that information.
Adam?
Is it, how does that,
Do I know if we're under contract with?
I believe we are, but I can't say that for sure. I don't know.
Well, I think at this point, we need to address with the IT company immediate access to our systems.
Okay. If they don't, want to give that information, I'll probably, I guess, I'll be in contact, with Larry and let him know, and then we'll try to get a meeting scheduled so that we can kind of figure out, okay, what do
Because
we
right
need to
now,
do
our
next.
police department is locked out of their system. That's not acceptable.
And this can't be, the first time this has happened with the IT company. They've been through this probably before. They can help us, guide us on what we do need to tell
And
them.
I would motion with the council that we give Daniel authority on this to address it immediately.
I second.
So, and if that's what you'd like to do, then I can take that responsibility on in the short term until we get all this figured out. And then I can work also with Cheryl's attorney, and we can, if there's a need there, then I can be that point of contact. And then once everything gets resolved, then maybe we can consider, having someone formally take that over full-time.
Right.
But, with building security, changing locks, we had to change some locks last week. That was a real pain to get that done, but we were able to do that. So having someone designated who if you see a need, can step in and take care of it at that time, as opposed to, having to delay it out, find someone to do it, would be a good thing. So, but did you guys vote on that?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make
Motion
that
on the
clear
floor,
to you.
and do I have we need a vote, we have a, first and second motion. All in favor?
Aye. So I'll reach out to them and begin that process, and I will keep you all updated in regards to those things.
Okay, and IT plans for the future for the police department needs, technology
Yes.
needs, period.
Just to follow up, the brief conversation that I had with, I think it's EAS, they're out of Greencastle, that's who we've worked with in the past. They have indicated that there is a need to begin planning for some improvements in our technology. Currently, we have one server which services the entire town. Their recommendation was that I believe by 2023, we would need to update that server. I believe it's a 2012, and Microsoft has indicated that they'll stop sending out security updates for 2012 and 2023. So we're getting to that point where we need to start thinking about, potentially replacing that server. Something else to consider is, like I said, now we have one server handling all of the town. It may be beneficial to get two servers.
Yeah. Site.
The person that I spoke with indicated that servers can range anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000, depending on the model and what it has. It may even be possible that we could get like a refurbished server, something that's been worked on and improved. So that might be a way to save some money. But I just wanted to keep you updated to that, because that's just been something else that's
We were
been.
kind of talking about doing a separate server for the police and a separate server for the town to keep those absolutely separated from each other.
Yes,
So, because
That
right
way
now it's all in one.
the police department can handle their business, and it'll be separate, and the town will keep its business separate as well. So, not that it's presented any problems, but, if we're going to be doing these things and be proactive, it probably is just better to keep everything separate, so. Seems to make a lot of sense, but yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys updated on that stuff, and I think I get about 1,500 calls a day, so, it will take a little bit of time, but I will definitely get to work on that.
Hey, Daniel.
Uh-huh.
Someone from Endeavor said that Endeavor Communications does managed IT services, and they specialize in government municipalities such as police departments. They would do a free consultation, and they are local, which I believe we have Endeavor's Wi-Fi and services like that anyway. So just as an option.
That might be a good option.
Yeah.
And
So,
From the police side, I know all of the county, the dispatch, and most of the police agencies in town are using 12 Point, which is a local. For us, it would be obviously nice, because that way the whole system is working
They're
together.
familiar with dispatch and all their links.
And there's no reason why we couldn't have two.
Right,
yes.
two different
Yes,
Just something to look at.
especially if we're gonna have a server for each one.
Right.
Right.
So you could use whoever you wanted to maintain your server.
So if you guys would like, I
Our
can,
votes for 12 Point.
Yeah.
if you want, I can contact 12 Point and contact Endeavor, and we can work out something where they can come out and give us some estimates and get a better idea of kind of what the financial ramifications of this, would be. So, yeah, we can get to work on that. Two other items on sorry to skip to the next one. I think someone had started talking about that. The plumber for the Spradlin matter. We have ongoing litigation currently with the Spradlins here in town over some backup in their property. It's gonna be necessary because they've alleged that the town's responsible for the backup, that we have a professional come in and inspect the backflow valve. The Spradlins had indicated that there was some rain, I believe, and there was something that ultimately caused the backup into their basement. So I've been told that the Spradlins did not have a town-approved backflow preventer. You know, we've had multiple issues. Honestly, all municipalities, or almost all municipalities in the state deal with this to some respect. When you have older properties, this tends to be a common problem. I know the Spradlins have, I believe, or at least I've been told that, or led to believe that they have a backflow preventer, but it was not one that was improved. I believe it was not one that was approved by the town or the town's insurance company. So we need to get a plumber out there to look at that. I'm sure it won't cost much, but I would say if I could get approval to hire or at least not hire, but to bring on a plumber to get that taken care of. At least get a plumber out there.
This is just for an inspection. Of the
Just for an
backflow
inspection,
preventer.
yeah.
I'll motion that we go ahead and get a certified plumber
To inspect the
with
property.
backflows to inspect it.
Okay, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay, in addition to the Spradlin matter, and actually it, because of the ongoing situation with Miss Galloway, Mr. Galloway, I'll just be frankly honest with you, I am gonna have to delegate some of those responsibilities to Mr. Holder. He is helping on some of those matters in a very minor capacity. Basically, we work together, and it would be to our benefit to begin working with him on that, so I can start delegating some of this to him, because if the last week is any guide to how things are probably going to be over the next month and a half, I need an army of attorneys to work with. I need a lot of help. So if I could get approval to go ahead and work with Mr. Holder in regards to the Spradlin matter, I would welcome that, and I will be working with him to delegate that. Now, in the past, when we've talked about any time that Mr. Holder is handling something, you're not going to be paying me for that. You know, if in this instance, if potentially he's handling something, I won't be charging for that. So I only charge when it's me handling it. So with in the past with the Smizer property, there have been times when both of us have had to be here, and I make sure that only he's getting paid for that time. So I want to make sure that that I can get some help, because I honestly I'm really needing it right now. So
Do you need a motion for that?
yes, if you would.
I will
Just
motion
approval
we
to
get
work with
Daniel
Jim.
some help.
Well, yes, just I need approval to begin working with Jim Holder, and for Mr. Holder to take on the Spradlin matter with me.
Okay.
So I'll motion that we let you do that.
And do I have a second?
Yes, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Invoices for payments. Cheryl had sent me some emails. There were some invoices that were needing paid. I'm not very familiar with some of these. There was the raised demolition invoice for the Bales property. I haven't driven past that yet, but I will be
It is.
happy to drive past it and look at what all of us have accomplished.
It
with
does
that.
have straw down and
Great.
Good.
So maybe we could get a motion to go ahead and submit payment for this invoice to raise demolition.
do I have a motion?
I'll motion, job's done.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we also had an invoice for the locksmith. We had to come and change the locks on the town manager's door and on the building inspector's door. We're trying to ensure that those are sealed off and we don't have people going in and out. We wanna, again, ensure that with this pending investigation that everything's protected in there. That's what this invoice is for. It was $130 for the locksmith's, repair and changing of those locks.
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do you have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, there's another invoice in regards to, I can't make out the first words, but it has something to do with the UV lamps.
I have some questions on these next two bills.
Okay, on those, I probably am not gonna be able to answer too many of your questions.
I would like to know if these UV lights have been delivered to us yet. And I don't know where the Technologies is, the corner of it's blocked out, I don't know what the name of the company is. We don't have those, I think we could hold off on those for a couple of months before, if we don't have them.
Don't hold me on it. I believe that they were delivered last Friday morning. I believe that they were delivered last Friday morning, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay.
And it does have a due date of 4/24, but they did ship it, according to this, 3/27, so.
Correct.
Yeah.
It could be here, yeah, I don't know, we don't know.
Yeah, I believe they got here last Friday,
Okay.
I think.
It's got net 30 on there, so, do we wanna make sure we have them before?
I think if we confirm that we're in possession of them, we go ahead and pay the bill.
Yeah.
If we don't have them,
So I will confirm that we have those.
yeah, if we have
with
possession
our
of them.
operators.
I just wonder how many of them we actually needed though. I don't think those go out very often.
I believe those do get weak though, and they have to be replaced. They were so old.
They have a burn life on them.
If they're here, I should just go ahead and pay them.
Do we wanna do a motion now for that if they're here, or do we have to wait?
I would say motion, if we're in receipt of them, we go ahead and pay it.
Right, I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will confirm that those have been paid, or I'm not paid,
Received.
received, yes, sorry. And then finally, there's this Hoosier Power LLC. This is just a quote at this point. This is for some work that they're,
If I added this up right, it's $6,200.
yes,
That's,
We got 62, yep.
hold on just one moment.
I believe that's for 2 or 3 generators. And that's annual maintenance on those generators.
Is it annual or semi? Yeah, on number 3, it says semi-annual service.
Right, it's a semi-service.
The, testing is an annual,
One says annual.
the other two are semi.
Or semi,
Okay,
okay.
yeah.
It says the yearly service, this was from William White. He told me that the yearly service is coming due for the generators at Cloverdale. He said, from past experience, I would recommend Hoosier Power for the service work. He indicated that Wayne had previously used W.W. Williams, and Mr. White hadn't had very good experiences with that company. And then that's one option here, so this Hoosier Power. We can reach out and get a little bit more information from this,
Hoosier Power.
I'm sorry, it sounds like that's actually who Williams recommending, so that's why he
Right.
sent that.
Yeah.
I don't know if the town wants to use Hoosier Power or this W.W. Williams, that's who Wayne has used in the past.
What were we paying with W.W. Williams?
I believe to just do the yearly service on the generators at the
What-
treatment plant.
What was our cost with them though? Do we know?
I don't know that.
seems like it's around 4,000 to 5,000.
Well, this, if we count the semi-annuals and the annuals, 9,800, almost $10,000
Per year,
per year.
for an annual, not.
So that's something we can investigate a little further if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to know what we paid the other one, yeah.
Those two semi-annual payments come up to $7,200.
Plus the 26 makes it 98 for
The
those.
semi-annual for 14, that'd be two of them, that'd be 2,800. The other's 2,200 semi-annual, that'd be 4,400.
We might also be able to get a service agreement with them to automatically do that on an annual basis for maybe 5 years at a lesser rate.
Right,
Okay,
that's good information.
yeah.
Here's another thing that's been upsetting me too. We got this is dated April 9th, that's 5 days ago. And then today, at 2:45, we've got this notice that something's gonna start on the 23rd, 9 days from now. They're wanting us to pass something on such a short notice that I think it should be delayed so we can have time to thoroughly check it out. This has been happening a lot. We got something at 2:45 this afternoon that we're supposed to decide on this evening.
Yeah, I can't, I don't know that, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
That's what's on the emails here, the dates, times on the email.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and I can't, speak to some of that, so we'll have to get in contact with William White and maybe, see if he can give us a little bit more information. I don't know if it's Bill or William, I've just been calling him William, is it Bill?
Bill.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll contact Bill and see if we can get some more information and, for our next meeting. And if we have to call a special meeting, we can always call a special meeting.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, Daniel?
No, not on the invoices. That was, we just had raised the locksmith and then the UV sewer plant lights. There was the old business that I thought we needed to address just briefly.
The Stardust Hills.
Yes. As you know, we received a complaint regarding, well, we received several complaints regarding the entrance walls there at Stardust Hills on the north side of Stardust. There being a little bit of an issue with people being able to see as they're pulling out on the Stardust Road. There are options in terms of, we could probably, take Mr. Getter to court and request that those walls come down through the courts. But, I think there are other ways that we could potentially resolve the safety concern without having to do that. Especially with everything else that's going on right now, it's probably in our best interest to just focus on one thing at a time. I had told Larry that, potentially we should consider putting stop signs make it a three-way stop right outside of the entrance to Stardust. Then potentially, it's gonna ensure that people aren't flying through there. Gonna hopefully prevent any kind of collisions. Seems like the cheapest option to resolve the problems. The other issue, you could consider is, do you wanna put in temporary signs and have temporary signs throughout the week? And then, the issue really is with C-Bar-C, we have a lot of traffic there on the weekends. So if there are temporary signs, we could remove those potentially or put them back. I don't know if that's something, or if you want to have permanent signs. I'm just trying to kind of think about some different options for us rather than having to.
What is the average traffic flow out of C-Bar-C on a Saturday and Sunday?
It just kind of depends on the events that they have going
I mean,
on there.
on a normal weekend, are we talking 50 or 100 cars?
Yeah, if not more than that.
You
The
know,
only time it's really heavy is when they have the truck and tractor pull. That's the only time you.
and you're gonna have fire department out there doing traffic control
Yeah.
anyway, police and fire.
Yeah, my only concern with the stop signs going in there is, people that are, you know, traveling up and down there that don't see the stop signs because they're not used to them being there, and somebody else comes out of there expecting somebody to stop, and it
Seems to me like that stop sign is a little high right there.
Could we put a stop sign with, I mean, what's the cost of a stop sign with a flashing red light on it, or one of those wind turbines on
I
top?
checked those out, those are expensive.
Yeah.
The wind
About
turbine ones?
$1,700 a piece.
The wind turbine or the light?
The stop sign with the solar lights on.
Well, I'm thinking the ones that they have like out on, out by your place. The, 240 is it?
75.
Yeah, 75 and
Gonna have the
240.
reflectors.
They got the
spin.
spinning air reflector on top.
Cause that's, it's not
I mean-
now, but it was.
Oh, like, yeah, okay.
They're like a wind turbine on the top that gets your attention.
Something to get somebody's extra attention, just because, I mean, I think that would be something,
They're
just
not
sitting there
used to
watching
it.
traffic,
Right.
run into an issue there, people not.
I mean, but I feel that a movable temporary thing that we close down Stardust Road on the weekends, inconveniencing all of
Yeah.
Stardust
Yeah.
for the few people that go into C-Bar-C on a weekend.
I would suggest on the eastbound Stardust Road, that they put up two signs. One that says, blind entrance ahead, and the other a caution. Those two signs on the eastbound side. Cause that seems to be the trouble there is,
But if we would put a stop sign, you're going to slow that traffic down to C-Bar-C to a stop, hopefully. And you're gonna give people that are coming out of Stardust,
Yeah.
where they don't have any visibility, time to see what's coming. That's the concern, is you have to pull literally out into the intersection before you can see what's coming, and it's too late. Versus if they had a stop sign, you would have some processing time there to decide what